Tension passionate Montreal, Canadiens FANS. Latest news, something big is happening in the Atlantic Division and it could shake up the entire conference. We're talking about a direct impact on Montreal Canadiens' path to another Stanley Cup run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Montreal Canadiens fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Montreal Canadiens FANS. Let's get to the news. Now, folks, if you've been paying close attention to the NHL news cycle lately, you know that the buzz around Kirill Kaprizov has been heating up. And it's not just idle chatter, there's real substance behind these rumors. The Minnesota Wild superstar winger, who's become one of the league's most exciting players, is heading into a pivotal year in his contract. And believe me, this is not just another typical contract negotiation. Kaprizov's future with the Wild is hanging in the balance, and it's a story that could reshape the landscape of the NHL, especially in the Atlantic Division. So what's the latest? Well, the big news is that Kaprizov reportedly turned down an 8-year, $128 million extension from the Wild. That's a significant figure, folks, a historic offer by any measure. But the fact that he rejected it, despite that hefty sum, signals something deeper. It suggests that Kaprizov might be looking for a different kind of deal, or perhaps he's testing the waters for a potential trade. When a player of his caliber enters a contract year, the NHL rumor mill gets swirling, and everyone starts to wonder, where will he land if not Minnesota? And the interesting part is that several teams are already in the conversation, teams that see Kaprizov as a franchise-changing talent. Among them, the Montreal Canadiens have entered the discussion. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. The Canadiens are rebuilding, right? They've been through a lot of ups and downs, but for the first time in a while, they're positioning themselves as serious contenders, especially with the young talent that's starting to develop in their system. The question is, could Montreal pull off a deal for Kaprizov? What would that even look like? Well, according to insider Marco D'Amico from RG Media, the trade would come at a steep price. And it's not just a matter of throwing in a few prospects or draft picks. No, he revealed that the Wild's asking price could be as high as Ivan Demidov. That's a name that should ring alarm bells for all Canadiens fans because Demidov isn't just any prospect. The 19-year-old is considered one of the brightest young stars in the league. He's up there with some of the most talked-about talents in hockey, Macklin Celebrini, Connor Bedard, you name it. Demidov is seen as a potential cornerstone for the Wild's future, and trading him would be seen as a major move. And here's the thing, D'Amico emphasizes that this would be a sign and trade. Basically, it's a signal from Minnesota that they're serious about moving Kaprizov if the right offer comes along. The Wild aren't just looking for prospects, they want someone who can step in and make an immediate impact. It's a high-stakes game, and the Canadiens would have to decide if they're willing to part with Demidov for a player who's in his prime and looking to win now. But let's step back for a moment and look at the bigger picture. The Canadiens, under their current rebuild plan, have been meticulous in their development strategy. They've amassed a talented core of young players, and Demidov in particular is seen as a future superstar. To trade him for Kaprizov, even if it's tempting given Kaprizov's talent, would be a major gamble, especially when you consider that Demidov's contract situation is favorable. He's about to enter the final season of his 5-year, $45 million deal signed in 2021, and potentially he could be a free agent as early as July 1, 2026. That gives the Canadiens a lot of leverage and flexibility. Now, I know some of you are probably thinking, but Kaprizov is in his prime and he's a game changer. And you're absolutely right, Kaprizov's ability to take over games, his scoring touch, his vision, it's all top tier. But the Canadiens have been patient. They've carefully built their roster, emphasizing player development and cap flexibility. They're not in a rush to mortgage their future for a player who might just be a short-term fix. Plus, the timeline doesn't quite line up. Montreal's young core is still developing, and their goal is to keep building around that core for sustained success. And let's not forget, the Canadiens are coming off a promising season. They showed flashes of brilliance, and with the additions they've made, they're positioning themselves as a team to watch. Adding a player like Kaprizov might seem like the missing piece, but at what cost? Demidov's potential is immense, and trading him now could set the team back in the long run. The Canadiens are playing the long game, focusing on nurturing their young talent, and that's the smart approach right now. Of course, the allure of adding a superstar like Kaprizov is undeniable. Imagine him in a Canadiens jersey, wreaking havoc on opposing defenses, skating alongside the likes of Cole Caulfield or maybe even forming a lethal duo. But the reality is, such a trade would shake up their entire organizational plan. It would be a bold move, one that could either pay off hugely or backfire if Demidov develops into a star elsewhere. And this whole situation underscores the bigger picture of NHL trades and contracts. It's about balancing immediate impact versus long-term sustainability. The Canadiens are in a unique position. They've shown they're willing to be patient, develop their young players, and make smart moves. They've already started to turn the page after a series of rebuilds and coaching changes. Now they're on the cusp of becoming a serious playoff contender, and they want to do it the right way. So looking ahead, the question is, will Montreal make a bold move to acquire Kaprizov if the price is Demidov? Or will they hold firm, knowing that their young core is the future? It's a fascinating scenario that no doubt will keep fans talking for quite some time. The NHL is unpredictable, and with Kaprizov's future still uncertain, anything could happen. But one thing is for sure, the Canadiens are watching very closely, and they're prepared to act if the right opportunity presents itself. This story isn't just about one player or one trade, it's about the direction of a franchise that's finally finding its footing after years of rebuilding. The potential of Kaprizov joining Montreal would be seismic, but it's also a reminder of how precious their prospects are, especially someone like Demidov. The balance of patience and boldness is what will define their next moves, and I, for one, can't wait to see how it all unfolds. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Montreal Canadiens news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Montreal Canadiens fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Do you think the Canadiens should go all in for Kaprizov, even if it means parting ways with Demidov? Or do you believe they should stay patient and keep building around their young stars? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion is so important to us and to the future of this team. Remember, this is a story that's still developing, and I'll be back very soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Montreal Canadiens news. The NHL is buzzing, and the Canadiens are right in the middle of it all. Thanks for watching, and as always, let's keep the passion for our Canadiens alive.